All right, we have started the show.
Yay!
We have Paul Petersen with us, actor, singer, and activist.
Yes, indeed.
Susan, do you want a formal introduction to your friend here?
Oh,
Hi, Paul. Welcome to the Cowsills podcast. First of all, I want you to know we all watched the Donna Reed Show. And I had 6 brothers, and yet, Paul, I wish that you were my brother, not them. Those boys to be my brothers too. It's just how it was for me.
wow.
But listen, in the Cowsill podcast, my position is to try and do a little pre-history with you before you became the Paul Petersen we all know you.
Okay.
So when you were coming up, little Paul, he's born into his family and mom and dad are there. You're 1, you're 2, you're 3, maybe 4. What are you doing? Are you a kid going to kindergarten learning about being a fireman or a policeman or a doctor? Or are you in a household of creatives and that isn't what was going on?
No, I was living on a farm in Iowa, Cherokee County. And not until Lockheed called my dad back to work, they had dismissed virtually everybody when the war ended, did we move out to Southern California. To a town of Burbank at first, but then later North Hollywood, which is dangerously close to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, by that time, my sister and I were already singing at church, and people seemed to like us.
Wow.
It's always
And as my mother believed, you have to improve on God's gifts. So that meant dancing lessons. Singing lessons.
Fun way of doing it.
Mom.
Over and over.
Oh,
Well, and there's of course a long 10-year part to that story, but let me go back to that part. At our church, which Dad helped build the organ, they had a notice came in that they needed tryouts in Los Angeles for the Easter sunrise service at the Hollywood Bowl. So my mom drove me and Sister Pam to the tryouts, and there were several thousand kids there, and they hired Amy and me. So now suddenly it gave my mom the idea, well, maybe I should try this.
Okay.
Next thing I know, my dance teacher, Sally Sargent, an old vaudevillian, and a tough gal, the top with the whiskey voice. Sally heard about an audition. Now, by now, I'm 9 years old, and I'd been dancing at the local VA and a local talent show sponsored by our automobile dealer called Rocket to Stardom. And typical of these things, Pammy won her hour. I won my hour, and we were in the finals, and I ended up winning.
wow.
So that led to an agent, a big, fat, ponderous woman named Lola Moore. There were only 2 kid agents in Hollywood, Lola Moore and this other gal. And they sent me on this interview over at Disney. And it was an open audition for some kind of critter called a Mouseketeer.
Oh.
Wow.
This is typical audition. You brought your sheet music, added it to the piano player, and proceeded to perform.
Okay.
Well, for most of the kids, 8 bars in, there'd be a voice in the back went, "Thank you." Well, I was singing Lulu's Back in Town. And I got all the way to the end of it with a dance in between and singing. And they hired me. So now that's my first job. I didn't have a Social Security card. I didn't have membership in any of the locals. Of course, you didn't have to join SAG till you were 12 in those days. But anyway, everything turned out pretty neat. I went to work. This is just before the park opened in 1955. So I was short of my 10th birthday. And the Mouseketeers danced at the Mickey Mouse Club Theater. And all of us, 40 of us, danced like a big troupe. And it was wonderful to be at the opening of Disneyland. which everybody called Walt's Folly.
Oh,
There was not a guaranteed success at all.
right.
And opening day was hot like it is today and dusty. The streets weren't paved. A standout memory is the little cars that we used to ride around Tomorrowland.
Yes.
They were all over the Disney lot, and they didn't need a key. So me and Mickey Rooney Jr., we just hop in the carts and take off. That is not a good habit for a young performer. Anyway, I managed to get myself in trouble most every day, and after about 7 weeks, I punched the casting guy in his stomach, Lee Travers, because he called me Mouse. Everybody called me Mouse. I was so small. Anyway, I turned around and punched him in the stomach and said, "Don't call me that, fatso."
Whoa.
And standing behind Mr. Travers was Mr. Disney.
Oh.
So when I got home at 4 o'clock that Friday afternoon, there was a telephone call which my mom made me answer, and I was the word discharged. So fired by 9 years old. Well,
Whoa.
in my family, this is a blue collar farm family, the only answer to losing a job is get the next job.
Absolutely.
So by that time, Lola Moore was sending me out on auditions. And I treated auditions, I don't know about you guys, but I treated every audition after that as if it's my job to lose. I don't want to just win the job. I want to beat everybody in the outer office. I want to be really good. So I worked a lot. I would go from one show to another show, and it didn't matter if they wanted me to dance or sing. And the parts kept getting bigger and bigger. And pretty soon I'm doing Playhouse 90s and Lux
Wow.
Video Theater and getting a reputation in Hollywood. For kids, your reputation, it's like a skyrocket.
Yeah.
Well, the following spring, 3 of us went to audition over at Paramount in front of a guy whose name I knew, Cary Grant. I did know who that was, and my mother certainly did.
Heck yeah.
And it was for a big movie called Houseboat.
Oh,
And Mimi Gibson and Charlie Herbert, who was from The Fly, and we auditioned together because we're like natural brothers and sisters.
oh, that's great.
I always took care of Charlie. He was little and talented, and his parents weren't very nice. And Mimi was a doll, honest engine. It's like having your own little blondie. And well, we must have impressed them because they hired us. And for the next 7 months, we were doing the highest level movie making.
Crazy.
And it was the start of a friendship with Sophia Loren, but more importantly with Cary Grant. And Mr. G was my friend till he died. So it was really cool.
And Paul, how was it learning your lines? I'm a theater guy, and boy, learning those lines was always important to get that book out of my hands.
Right. Important, yes, but easy. I didn't have really any issues with that, and it didn't matter what I was called upon to do. Now, mind you, when I did things like Ford Theater, I was a little ne'er-do-well whose father was being hung right in front of me. So that was one kind of acting. And I loved that kind of part because it wasn't me being the little bothersome little brother. And by the time we got to the Donna Reed Show, there I had Shelley Fabre playing my older sister, and I had one at home. So I kind of knew how to treat an older sister, especially a pretty one. And so it was easy to learn those lines. And over the decades, I got plenty of black eyes defending my sister's honor.
Yeah.
Because I have, both of my sisters are beautiful, and Shelley is number 3. And that's the way we grew up. So the lines were simple. And that always has been easy for me. It was never a test that I failed. I did not I worked with people who couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Honest Engine who couldn't remember.
I would like to interject briefly by simply noting, no, you had no other desire to do anything else because look at you. You're a rock star in your own right.
So Paul, you must have been totally 100% into this thing you were doing of acting, and you loved it, and it's okay, push me, let me work, I love this job. Yeah.
No, don't be so sure of that.
Oh, tell us. You gotta tell us.
Did you ever have a tough dance teacher?
Yeah, his name was
Did you have a teacher that was so tough that your feet would bleed inside your capicio?
Oh, no, buddy. Wow.
Okay. I had some of those.
Ah.
Plus, my mother was a lot bigger than me. So doing practice, I hated practice. I loved performing, but the practice just,
with you.
it was boring.
Agree.
I'll jump ahead to explain to you something. 3 years into the Donna Reed Show, just before we started our singing career, Mom wanted me to go to a high-profile, high-cost singing teacher here in Hollywood. And pardon my profanity, but I had to look her in the eye, and I was by this time bigger than her. Mom, I got the damn job.
Oh, I don't need.
I didn't have to prove to anybody anything. And that part I love, because by that time I was pretty much an independent entity, and my baby sister, Patty, was my main concern. Mom had gotten a divorce, and there were, domestic troubles. And every day going to stage one was sanity. How could you do better than Donna Reed for a mom?
Yeah.
And that's what I called her, Mom.
Wow.
And understand that Donna Reed, her real name is Donna Bell Mullinger, and she was from a small farm in Denison, Iowa. So she is very much like my mom. She was the oldest daughter of 5 children. She virtually raised her brothers, and we got along. I honest Injun, except in front of people, I called her Mom on the set all the time.
We find that with a lot of our friends, Bill, Bill, and
Yes.
and we even, as disassociated as it is, that Partridge Family show, Shirley Jones is like a mom to us.
Yeah.
I gotcha. And interestingly for me, given the enormity of her talent and her legacy, she was like a big star for me. I got it, but it was Miss Jones then and now. That's how it is.
Yeah.
When I was 26, after 6 years off air, we went to lunch every month, Shelley and Donna and Carl and me, at the bistro in Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah.
And during one lunch, Donna suddenly leaned across the table and started to grab my arm. And she said, Paul, I think it's time you started calling me Donna.
Okay.
It had turned into, I don't want to say unkindness, but it did not describe the relationship. What I told her then and later, even as she was at the end of her life, Mom suited her best. It really did.
That is so
It was a great comfort to know her and to listen to her and watch her teach Shelley Fabre. She rooted for us all the time. And she had her hands full with me, like many mothers do with ambitious and energetic young men. But she hung in there. She really did.
Yeah.
Paul, so you become a singer and you have some hits and yeah. And I'm just wondering, was that Madison Avenue coming in and taking, hey, we're going to get this guy on an album. Look at, he's famous right now because of Donna Reed. He's cute as a deer. And how did it roll out?
Ricky Nelson is to blame.
That's what I said.
They first approached us and asked if we wanted to sing. Shelley said, absolutely not. She doesn't like to sing. She doesn't like to perform live in front of people. I, however, couldn't wait to get that microphone because Ricky had all the girls and he had fast cars. That's what it meant to me. I thought I'd get rock and roll songs. Instead, the very first song they give me is She Can't Find Her Keys. I take my baby home at night. I can't wait to kiss and hold her tight. But right then she reaches in her bag and starts pulling stuff out. Well, that was the first tune they gave me, but nonetheless, it was a minor hit. But the next song they gave me was written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil called My Dad.
Yeah.
That was a meaningful song. They wrote an episode around it, how difficult it can be to be a young man whose father is a professional and is seldom home. And I got to sing it to Carl, who at this time in my life was as good a friend as you could ever have.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I got to sing to him that episode, and it touches people. It touches me. Just the memory of it gets me.
And did they make you go on tour, or not make you, but did you go out and do live performances of your hit?
Absolutely. Dick Clark.
Capacity.
I was on the Dick Clark Caravan of Stars.
Oh, you out on that?
It was fantastic. My seatmate, well, first of all, the Supremes were on the tour, the Drifters, Gene, I'm going to forget people. Ronnie Dove was the country and western singer. But I learned things on the tour, which was night after night, all of us on one bus. And that was how talented some of these singers were, how committed they were to giving the best performance they were capable of night after night after night.
Yeah.
And Gene Pitney sat next to me. And in the dark of night, as we went from one venue to the next, all within like 300 miles of each other, Gene would open up his briefcase and take out some personal stationery and write notes. And he had a whole filing system of business cards of people he met along the way. And I finally said to him, Gene, why are you doing that? He said, Paul, I want to be in this business for a long time. And these are the people who will help me stay in it. I admired him for that.
Yeah.
And I admired people who look 20 years in their future, 30 years in their future. That was not me. I had a race car at home. I went out with fast cars and faster women. I was playing the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, this was an era when sex couldn't kill you.
You're right on.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about
Sure.
when you're going to have My Dad. Now, My Dad's you're going to hit the charts with that one. That's going to go like up to the top 10.
Yeah.
And then Shelley, who's playing your sister Mary on the Donna Reed Show. It's just
Right.
bring people into the ballpark
He
here.
doesn't like it.
Shelley is a reluctant artist, a reluctant singer who's going to have a million-selling Johnny Angel. Now,
I know.
were you guys supportive of each other? Did you compete with each other? Was this quietly done on the side and you didn't discuss it?
Oh, no. The Donna Reed Show was part of Columbia Pictures, which was a part of Screen Gems, which was an owner of Cold Gems, which was our record company. But I hope you guys will remember the days of the record business. Two of my promoters down in Florida, Freddie Maroon and Babe Elias, if you're interested, ended up going to federal prison for transshipping. My first royalty check after 2.5 million records said that I owed Colpix $2,500.
No business.
You know about that.
That was our
Okay, well, there's more to this.
Yeah.
Shelley owed at 4.5 million, even more.
unbelievable.
And when I went to our producer, Tony Owen, which is Donna Reed's husband,
Oh.
I complained to him and showed him my royalty check. that showed a debit. And he talked, he was from the south side of Chicago, and he talked like this.
Yeah.
He said, Paul, do you like going out on the road? Well, yeah, I do, Tony. Do they pay you cash money? Well, yeah, they do, Tony. Then don't ask.
Wow.
Simple.
That's why you're paying back that money.
Well, we never did. We went on recording sessions. Get this. Jimmy Darren, Shelley Fabre, and me, with our producer, Stu Phillips, 1 3-hour session, 7 sides cut, and all of us were charged for that session, the same amount.
Wow.
Understand.
We're talking crooks,
Yeah.
crooks, with transshipping and pressing plants just
How-
across the state line.
How rotten.
No one had good advice. Don't ask.
Yeah, right.
Truth is, I love being part of the musicians union, being paid cash, because I'd sing like a bird for cash.
Hey, did they ever try and build a show around you and Shelley and tell the two of you, look, we'd like to
Impossible.
back at you?
Not in a million years.
Okay.
One year we went to the Boy Scout convention in Colorado Springs. And here we are on the stage having been introduced. And of course, the Boy Scout, they're going crazy with Shelley up there. She was more, for sure a highly attractive young woman. And they asked us to sing. And Shelley said no, so I said no. But we did the national anthem, at least I did. And about midway through the tune, I look over my shoulder and Shelley's hiding behind me. Now, I sing the national anthem anytime.
You're hilarious.
She really mightily reluctant to do any of that. Oh, I teased her terribly. You can imagine,
Yes.
because I'm just, give me the mic.
Do you remember hearing Johnny Angel and a reaction you had to that? Did you think, wow?
Oh, I said, that's a hit. You bet I did, of course. And Donna, seeing my reaction, patted me on the shoulder and she said, don't worry, Paul, you'll have your chance. Just hang in there.
Oh,
How do you, any brother and sisters in the industry understand this mightily? And here's something, you guys, I don't know if you've talked about this or seen examples. My early success had a lot of ramifications within the family. My father is an engineer at Lockheed at the Skunk Works, so the most advanced engineering there is. He said to me in later years, Paul, I loved it when you were introduced as my son, but I hated it when I was introduced as your father.
Oh.
It's a flip that is difficult to cope with.
wow.
Now, in later years, Montel Williams said to my mom, what were you doing to him? He was working 7 days a week. He was making money. He was singing. He was dancing. And Mom interrupted him. She said, Montel, he got every audition he went on. What was I supposed to do with him? All of my grade school friends, if you ask them in 3rd grade, I'm not kidding, 3rd grade, if you ask them who's the performer, they'd point to Paul. Did I have other friends? Yes, Stephanie Sebastian is a world-class concert pianist. Michael Belnick is still out and around. Yes, I had those friends. Yes, I knew how talented they were. But they were so talented, I didn't want to compete with them. I didn't want to devote myself on a single issue. And as it happened, as my life developed, I learned that I had other strengths. One of the things which I discovered in my 40s is I'm really good at passing legislation.
Oh,
And the reason is so transparent, you'll appreciate this. When I go to states legislators, Not so much now because I'm old. But back in the day, when I walked on the floor, those people knew me. They grew up with me.
Yeah.
Right.
See, they were as apt to call me Jeff Stone as Paul Petersen. So when I told them about the troubles child performers were having in their jurisdiction, they at least listened.
Well,
And our first piece of legislation, you'll find this fascinating. What do you do with fame? In Hollywood, when an infant is employed, usually they hire twins.
Yep.
And a baby under the age of 6 months has to have not only a studio teacher there to guard the welfare, but also a registered nurse. Now, as it happens, I am married to a show business registered nurse. We wanted to change the rules because what they were doing in Hollywood was hiring triplets and quads and working all of them for the allotted 2 hours, but
wow.
bring them all in the same time. 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. It's an 8-hour day.
Yep.
Yep.
So we had to change the rules. And everybody said, you'll never get it done, never get it done. And my life friend, Sheila Kuehl, remember her, Zelda from Dobie Gillis?
Yes.
Sheila Kuehl had a buddy up in Sacramento who called me up one day and said, Joe Rogan's his name, said, Paul, I want you to drive up here. We have an opportunity. So I drove up to Sacramento and with Jim Rogan on one side and Sheila Kuehl on the other elbow, we walked through the California legislature, and they were introducing me around. Sheila would say, Paul has something for you here. Jim would say, you have something I want you to listen to. We wrote the bill. It was called the Preemie Bill, which covered all the premature babies who work in Hollywood, which is most of the work. And the bill was passed in about 7 days and was signed the moment it could be by the governor. And it was a slam dunk because when you get a room full of sincere former kid stars who did the work, remember, we did the work. They were watching us. When we spoke, people listened. And it was in that regard we were able to press legislation. That's how we were able to go to Pennsylvania to speak about the welfare of John and Kate plus 8 children. And those 8 children were working 7 days a week. No teacher, no nurse, no salary because mom and dad were paid. The directors were paid. The writers were paid. The producers were paid. And the kids got nothing.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
That reality show, right?
I know them well. Well, 6 of them were sex, not twins, so sextuplets. 6
But 6 of the kids, plus there's a set of twin girls.
Yeah, a set of twins
So
too.
what the problem is that work for children is now global. I have my credentials at the United Nations on behalf of the World Safety Organization, and I go around trying to talk to legislators and the high mucky mucks. And you know what their attitude is? Oh, we can exploit our kids. They're, after all, our kids. Right? You think that's okay? And you know something? They do think it's okay.
They do. We have parents like that.
Hey, Paul, just so you could tell folks, after Donna Reed and Jeff Stone, and between then and you find yourself in that seat facing that California Congress, what happened in the middle there that made you become that person?
Yeah, Bob, Paul, just tag on to Bob. How did you become so sure of yourself? It sounds like you really liked yourself and believed in yourself.
I learned many things after the Donna Reed Show, which was painful in many instances. It took me about 4 years to go in the toilet. and the industry was aware of this, and I think was rather gleeful. Paul got his comeuppance because envy and resentment is part of what young performers deal with all the time. It's particularly difficult for young boys, but it's bad enough for young women. I'm friends, and I mean close friends with what we call ingenues, the young Stollywood harlots, like Raquel Welch, Donna Lauren, Mimi Gibson, Regina Lowe. These were people I worked with and admired, and whose reputations I often had to defend because people, they get so snarky, you know. Hey, did you ever feel her up? No, no. What happened is a guy named David Oliphant gave me a chance, knowing about my love of cars and my brief racing career, to write a book for Simon & Schuster called High Performance Driving. And I took it seriously and turned in the book on time, complete with illustrations. It was well received. That made me feel good, made me feel better than any day in front of a camera or any day on stage for that matter. And as that grew and I wrote more books, I got to a point where I could actually defend what I was doing. For example, when I wrote Walt, Mickey, and Me, which was a story about my time on the Mouseketeers. And mind you, I'm the world's first ex-Mouseketeer. The first kid they fired was me.
Good to know for something, Polly.
Now, here's what's so crazy. I'm friends with all of those Mouseketeers to this day. They know why I'm doing what I do.
Of course they do.
They applaud what I do. They work with me on this stuff. They themselves have people that they go out and defend. Well, for example, I got an email from Stan and Barry Livingston. Dawn Lynn, I don't know if you know this, she had a stroke 2 years ago and has been in the hospital. Well, at the Hollywood show coming up in early September, she's going to be in public again with Barry and Stan and Tina Cole.
Oh,
It's a miracle.
yeah.
We care about all of them. It's not just legislation. It's 3:00 in the morning going out on Hollywood Boulevard to try to get Dana Plato the hell back into her apartment and get her out of her robe and bunny slippers.
Yeah, I remember.
Picking up the phone, and it's that jerk radio jock who humiliated her.
Oh, Howard Stern.
Yeah, the guy. I wouldn't go on his show, and he kept calling, saying, asked me to go on. I no, Howard. I mean, it's a good thing I wasn't around him as he treated her so badly. She died from his treatment. Begged him not to use that hair sample she left. No, I don't suffer fools gladly. I don't. And Howard Stern, I hope a really big wave hits the Hamptons.
Yeah, he sold out. Hey,
Oh, did he ever?
So Paul, not to digress too much, but so you went to school on set. We had to deal with those tutors and all that kind of thing. So
Yes.
did you graduate high school and did you go to college?
What I did was I enjoyed the best private education a person could have. My teacher, Dr. Lillian Barkley, had 3 master's degrees. And yes, I graduated high school of the AP program, University High. I went there 2 days, once to register and once to graduate. And my classmates at Uni High never invite me back. Not to this day. I've adopted my wife's 50th anniversary class from Gardena High. But the kids at University High, no thanks.
Wow.
Wow, and they grew up with those people too.
The west side of Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for as many lives as were affected by the burn, the Pacific Palisades, I just couldn't scrape up much sympathy. Couldn't do it. I know those people. I know those people. And when you go in the toilet and publicly, it's everywhere around you, and people cluck their tongues and whisper behind your back. And yet I have friends in Hollywood who are yet prominent. They won't let their kids go shopping unless I take them because they know I'll take care of them.
All right.
It's bizarre. It really is. I don't know how people can separate their life into compartments like that. I don't understand it. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, no. So are you comfortable? Is there still a lot of work to do? Are you comfortable where you brought this whole issue with the kids and the babies and the whole scene?
No, I want to do more, but unfortunately, as you can tell, I don't have my health. There's a reason I'm on oxygen. I was a heavy smoker. I don't have the energy that I used to have. I'm not leaving the house at 2:00 in the morning. And I'm grateful that my wife takes such wonderful care of me. But when pressed, I can make arrangements to show up where I'm needed. The truth of the matter is, in the Fair Labor Standards Act, which is the rule book for employment in the United States, there are 44 exemptions to the standards. Next to last on that list of 44 is any child engaged in entertainment. Yes.
Yeah, don't get that.
That protects your money, that's not a federal law. It's a California law. The work rules are not the same in North Carolina as in California. They are decidedly not the same in India or Pakistan, where you do a movie like Slumdog Millionaire and find out that a little 9-year-old girl, after the movie was over, was put up for sale. $400,000 US.
What?
She was for sale. So I worked hard at the UN, but it hurt because I would look at these college-educated global travelers, and they didn't care.
Yeah.
I mentioned briefly, I hope you heard this. I was in Africa because I wanted to see how bad the AIDS crisis was affecting children, particularly in South Africa. But along the way, I ended up in West Africa talking to village elders about the children who pick our cocoa beans. They're all children. 90-pound sacks of cocoa beans. And I would say to the elders, why aren't you picking the beans and letting those children be children? Well, we did it when we were kids. They need work.
It's a culture. Yeah, crazy.
Everywhere. Why do people strap bombs on babies in the Middle East? Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, that's we don't, nobody, I don't.
Is your minor considerations, is this an active, ongoing?
Yes, it's ongoing. It's not as active as it used to be. Everybody's getting older. I lose people.
Okay.
But Tony Dow's death was devastating to me. Billy Gray is in his mid-80s from Father Knows Best.
No.
You see, for vintage celebrities, I want you to envision sausages on a string. We are, each of us, depending on our era, we're a pulse in the body. We're a pulse. So my era was black and white television, classic TV. But the people who prospered in that pulse, that little sausage packet, they're getting old. So now you're getting the books from the kids, from the Nickelodeon people.
Yes.
You're getting Britney Spears and Jamie. You're seeing girls, particularly girls, writing books that are devastating in the truth. I'm glad my mom is dead. How about that for a title?
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's because we have not solved this problem, and we could, with the stroke of his pen, the president, especially given the power he has with Congress, they can make make child labor laws for the entertainment business uniform and consistent, not only for people like me, lucky enough to be on a series, but for all those kids who are out on the road working.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have been out there. You've seen abusive family situations. My goodness, the Christian families as guilty of abuse as anything you could find in Hollywood. And that's the truth. We've got to fix this. I'm
Paul,
sorry.
excuse me, have you seen our documentary?
I have not. No, I have not.
Go have a look.
We had a family like that.
We could have used you.
We
back
could
in
have
the
used
day.
you.
We lost every penny.
Really? Okay, I will. I'm happy to do it. Marianne has been telling me it. I will do so.
What's interesting, Paul, is this cause of yours was also taking place, that all the horrible things were also taking place in the music industry. We were the kids in that industry. And
Right.
we're the ones that were being taken advantage of. And,
Tommy
and
James.
we're the first generation. We signed all the bad contracts. We're taking all the bad decisions. Half of us are making wrong life choices. And we're the first generation that paid the price.
The lawyers actually had Bob sign a sheet, saying that, he was this age at this time. And
Yeah, my MGM contract, I have my signature when I was 17, and the paragraph above my name says, I'm telling everyone I'm 21. It was crazy back then. It was crazy.
And I agree. That's because children are easy to fool. Now, let me
we didn't care.
something that you'll appreciate. Now I forgot what I was going to tell you. It was real important.
Well, welcome to our world.
I gotcha. It was funny to watch the faces of my adult counterparts at Screen Actors Guild and after, where I served on the board for over 20 years and made some progress, but they were shocked at some of the things I would tell them.
Yeah.
And they would come over later and whisper to me the things they had seen on the set.
Right.
And when it comes to the music business, I get it. I get it. Believe me, I do.
Did you ever run into the Howards, Ron and
Yes.
the dad and Clint and stuff? How did they fare?
Pregnant pause.
No, because I have to remember the names. Ricky Sorensen, who played Boy in Tarzan movies. I asked him one day, Rick, how is it that you made it through and turned out to be a pretty fair country actor? And Ricky said to me, Paul, you got to pick your parents with care. Now, let me illustrate a point. On Happy Days, Ron Howard was getting to college age and had to make decisions. And he tried at the family dinner table to announce his intention to not go to college. Well, Rance nearly flew out of his chair. Young man, he said, slapping the table, you have been telling people since you were 3 years old that you were working in show business so you could go to college. You will, by God, go to college. That's what it takes. You have to be bigger than the business.
Yeah, the parent does, sure.
And when you look at the Olympics, look at what we see. The abuse, it's everywhere. And sadly, it has infiltrated our educational system. The idea that teachers are sleeping with 12-year-old boys, excuse me?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Good Lord. Well, all of that concerns me. I wish I could meet and talk with all the parents and the kids, but I'm going to be 80 next month, and it's exceedingly difficult for me. So I have preyed on this in hopes that a new generation will pick up the
That's right.
baton.
So is
And
anybody
carry
going to
forward.
carry the torch from your hand to their hand?
Yes, unfortunately, we kind of skipped a generation because the technology has changed.
Yeah.
Can you imagine here? I could control things when it was Hollywood over at Republic or on CBS or at Universal because I could show up.
Yep.
But now they're filming things in Georgia, in Florida, in North Carolina, overseas. They're down in Mexico and Bolivia and Ecuador. That's a big job.
Yeah.
Paul, you've done great to
Yeah, you
advance.
have done
I
your
thank you.
cause.
But here's what I remembered I wanted to tell you. At a professional level, and speaking to you as professionals, the turnover rate among professional children at Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA is 20% per year. What that means is after 5 years, the turnover rate is 100%. Kids don't stick around a long time.
It's done.
Right.
You guys are miraculous. You're out there still.
We know about that miracle.
Well, and it is a miracle.
Yeah.
And God bless you for that. That there's a special gate for you guys, Honest Engine, because that's really difficult. Longevity, it's not appreciated, and yet it's very important. As you know, every time you meet a new person, it's important because it's new to them too,
Absolutely.
and it's important.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on here with us, Paul.
Yeah, and all that you've done.
All that you've done.
Yeah, it's
This is an honor for me. It's so easy to be able to talk to my friends, to speak to John Provost, and
Yeah.
talk to Billy Gray,
Yeah.
and be able, without having to explain deeply
Absolutely.
what we've been through.
yeah,
Absolutely.
You're connected, your family.
And
Yeah.
we are proud
Yep.
to be counted in your cool kid club.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you so much for persevering with us and sticking with this. It took us a little while, but we got her in, and
I'm glad. I'm so glad. You guys keep it up.
We will.
No, Paul.
we're out
We
here.
will. And God bless Paul Peterson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Up this week, we'll let you know. Okay, we'll let you know.
Okay, please do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Carry on.
Good night.
Up to you.